Hello everybody, so it's time for another review where I compare an unripe fruit to a ripe fruit, and I'm going to be talking about the jalapeno. If you get a green jalapeno, this is not ripe. When it's ripe, it looks like this. It turns red. I got these from the same bin at a supermarket, and some of them were picked early and some of them were picked later. They're the same exact species, they're the same exact cultivar, I assume. They were from the same bin, guys. So we've got the green one and the red one, and as a little bonus, I also have this kind of small but interesting one. This one has stress lines on it, and this one was actually sent to me by Matt over at mattspeppers.com. So if you are interested in this and other peppers, check out the link in the description below. Now, what's interesting about this, when peppers don't get enough water, it stresses out the fruit and creates little brown lines on it, and that makes it hotter. So if you go to a supermarket and see jalapenos and one of them has little brown lines on it and the other one doesn't, the ones with the brown lines, that's going to give you more heat generally than the ones without. So I'm going to compare not just an unripe one with a ripe one, but also that ripe one with one that's been stressed out. Now obviously this one is maybe a different cultivar. It's smaller. Teeny tiny. It's like a third of the size of this big one. But just as a broad comparison, we'll give that a try and see if it is indeed much hotter than the ones I have here. So first I'm going to try the plain unripe one. I mean, you know what this tastes like, I'm sure, but have you eaten just a plain slice of it on its own? I think I have, so let's see what it's like. I might be a little desensitized towards heat after eating so many chili peppers, but this one, you know, on my level of 1 to 10, I put this as a 2 for heat, but it also tastes pretty good. The flavor is kind of like a green bell pepper. It's got like that slight bitterness to it, that slight grassiness to it, and a slight, I don't know what you'd call like resiny kind of flavor that a bell pepper would have. So yeah, good, totally good. Now let's move on to the red one. I cut roughly the same amount, so we'll see if this is indeed hotter. Why don't people eat these ripe? Why? I mean, if you go to ooh, it is hotter. It is definitely hotter. If you go to a Latin supermarket, they always sell both. And they often sell them separately. You know, sometimes the red ones are more money, but you can get them both. And yeah, you make a choice of which one you want. But ripe jalapenos at a regular supermarket, not usually a thing. So I don't know why. It might be because you have to wait longer to pick them, so it maybe just makes more like monetary sense. But the flavor on it is markedly different, and they are hotter. I'd say the heat on this is twice as much as a jalapeno. I'd put this at like a 4. It's more like a red bell pepper, so it's not grassy tasting at all. It still has maybe a little bit of bitterness, maybe a similar amount of bitterness, but a little bit sweeter and a little bit fruitier. And finally, I am going to try the stressed red jalapeno. This one is definitely a different cultivar. You know, besides the difference in size, it also has a lot more sweetness to it. It's pretty good. It tastes kind of like this one, but a little bit more concentrated on flavor. However, the heat on it is not hotter than this. Even though it has the stress marks on it, it is a little bit older. I had it in my fridge, so that might have mellowed out the heat on it a little bit. So maybe not the best judge of it. I was hoping that this would be hotter just to show an example of how they can be hotter. Not in this case, not in this case. But it does show an example on how a ripe jalapeno can taste different from another one. The heat on this, I'd say, is about the same as the unripe one. It's around a 2. So that might be because I had it in the fridge and it's a little bit older. But in any case, very, very tasty. I think that jalapenos should be available in different states of ripeness because they are very different. And you know what? Different cultivars, that'd be pretty good too. And if you have a Latin supermarket nearby, go there and try a ripe one. It's remarkably tasty, and I think there's reasons that you would want to use this, and there are reasons why you'd want to use this, and there are reasons why you'd want to use this. So having more variety, that's always the best way of going. And when you're dealing with ripe and unripe, being unripe is not necessarily a bad thing either. Depends what you want. I want to give a special shout out to AltPod and Smarter Every Day. They are mega patrons over on patreon.com. Patreon is how this channel happens. It's how I can afford to do all the things that I do. So if you want to help me out by supporting the channel and getting some bonuses along the way, check out the description. I also have these shirts for sale. Those are in the description as well. See you next time. Bye.